Good evening, everybody. I saw this message from Mark Kramer in the Coffee Monsters Co. Facebook group earlier today. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Sorry it's taken so long to upload this. It's been a doozy of a day with a 5-year-old. But he asked about tips and tricks on using the clear acrylic stamps that Helen's getting ready to ship out because he's never used them with success because of bleed through on the ink pads that he's used with them. So he wanted to know how to mount, use, dismount, and store a stamp and what products you use to clean up the blocks and the ink. And my reply was I bought the acrylic blocks, VersaMagic chalk inks, Ranger Distress inks in light colors only, and Tombow dual brush markers off of Amazon to use. I've tried a lot of other inks and they bleed. And I store mine, funnily enough, in the large plastic container that packages of extra chewing gum come in. They are the exact dimensions and hold 3 to 4 sets of stamps per package. They will also hold the acrylic blocks and ink pads from the Ranger Distress ink pads. They're large ones, perfectly. And I promised I would upload a picture after I got my daughter from the school bus, but I thought I've got some stamping to do in my Wonderland 222 A6 journal that I use to track health and fitness. So I thought I would show you exactly what I was talking about instead. So please forgive the mess. I have not straightened up my space lately. All right, so first things first. These are the chewing gum packages I was talking about. So extra chewing gum makes large quantities of chewing gum. I think this holds, 24 or 36 full sticks of gum. You just take the plastic divider inside and you're left with this handy dandy little closing lid on a hinge plastic that is exactly the size you need to slip Helen's clear stamps in there. And it's deep enough to hold at least 3. I can probably get 4 in there. Not only that, but it will also hold an acrylic block with a stamp or 2 sheets in there. I've got 2 sheets in there. And the Ranger Distress Oxide large pads also fit in there. Obviously, the VersaMagic Dewdrop do not fit in there, and the Tombow markers do not fit in there. But everything else is easily portable in these things, and they also happen to have the benefit of being waterproof when they're fully closed. So if you get caught in the rain, your stamps don't get wet, which is always nice. On hand, I like to keep one of these fish scale microfiber cloths. This one happens to be from VP Maruga Life Creator. I got those on Amazon. I want to say it was a package of 6 for like $5. They have a unique fish scale weave that does not leave any fibers behind. And I also use a package of Kirkland Tensau baby wipes. I've got a kabillion of these left over from having a child. So those are a very mild soap solution that's really good for getting ink off. So I thought I would show you how I use one of these because I'm getting ready to set up this week in my Wonderland 222 A6 size stacked weekend journal that I use to track health and fitness. I already worked out today, so I put that down there, but I did not do my stamps for today. So let's do that together. I'll take out an acrylic block and the stamp that I normally use, which I have not cleaned in a while. You can see it's a little manky looking. It's this cute little emoji with a note because it's got a decent size opening in there for me to write some information in. Most acrylic blocks will have a grid line on there. You can pay no attention to the scalloped edges. Pay attention to the grid lines. You're going to line your stamp up on those grid lines, and that way you know you're going to get a straight and even stamp. Because these are clear acrylic, they can flex and move, so you want to make sure that it's as straight as you can get it. It doesn't really matter in this circumstance that I'm starting out with a stamp that's got some previous ink on there, because I am going to use the same ink that I did before. In this case, the Distress Oxide from Ranger in Hickory Smoke. I really like this light gray because it doesn't bleed through very much. A little bit, not too much. So after you've got your stamp mounted on your acrylic block, pat it to get some ink on there. Line it up where you want it to go. Press evenly. Do not rock back and forth. Just press evenly on all sides. I've got my finger centered on both sides of that stamp, and I'm pushing forcefully. Ta-da! Re-ink. Move on. I will put this stamp on the 16 time frame on every single day, because I choose to track the run that I take every single day. And that's where I like to put it, at the bottom. I'll show you why in just a moment. On Monday through Friday, I've got my lines set up with the number 16, so it gets through there. On Saturday and Sunday, because it's stacked, they don't have lines, so I just eyeball it, and I leave a little bit below, say 3 squares. And now I've got a note stamp on every single day of the week. I run a mile or a mile and a half every single day. I did want to show you how to clean these, because there are other options. So I'm going to take a baby wipe and wipe that off. You'll notice that not all of the ink comes off, but the transferable ink, as in the ink that was previously, most recently used and wet, will come off, but there will be a slight discoloration that will not impact the outcome at all. You can see there's a light purple tone that will not show up in the next round of stamps. I'm just going to turn the page. You can see there's a little bit of shadow through, but not true bleed through. Let me try a Versa Magic chalk paint, and this one's in full black. So if this is going to bleed through, you'll see it. I'm going to do the same thing on this page. I'm lining up with the number 16, pressing evenly. I didn't get enough ink on that one. Let's try again. Better. You'll notice that the chalk ink is not as saturated as the Tim Holtz Distress Oxide ink. And that is because it is a chalk ink, and it's not going to be as saturated, but you can get some really vibrant tones, pretty colors. I'm also doing this one-handed. Normally I would do this two-handed to get even pressure, but you're getting the drift. Came out pretty good, if I do say so myself. And let's flip the page. Even less shadow through. Taking a risk here by turning this page because that ink is not fully dry, but I want to show you one more. Wipe this ink off. I want to show you what happens with a Tombow dual brush. And again, you'll see it's not all the way off, but it's good enough. And I'll take my fish scale rag and dry it. I'm going to be using my Tombow dual brush in N15, which is the true black. And I'm just going to take the brush end of it and color the raised portions of the stamp, Try not to get it in the bits that are in between because you don't want a smear, meaning in the middle there. If you accidentally push down too hard, it could come out a little wonky. We'll set that aside and go back to stampings. I'm going to have to go to the next month because I've run out of space this month. So I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but this is all in the name of science. That's beautiful. The Tombow is probably my favorite all-time stamper because you'll see it just saturates beautifully. Very little bleed through or even shadowing. Just make sure that you use the flat side of the dual brush. And you're not using the bullet end, you're using the brush side because you can get a nice flat edge to get as much surface area as possible. It just makes it go a little faster. I'm just going to knock these last few out so I can see a full and complete ink. Not have inked that one fully. Yeah, it's a little spotty. It'll get the job done. Wabi sabi. Embrace imperfection. Because perfection is completely unattainable. There we go. And check this out. Even less shadow through. Fully saturated. Chalk with Versamagic, very little saturation. Tim Holtz Distress Oxide, probably the most saturation you can see through the chalk page. So again, I'm going to use a baby wipe and just lightly wipe this. Get everything off of there. I will peel it off the mount and do the other side too. The back side needs to be cleaned in order to maintain its stickiness to the clear acrylic block and also clean off your blocks. Let these fully dry before you put them back in your packages. Make sure that you are covering up your ink pads so they don't dry out. Store those in these handy dandy little chewing gum packages. And I store my stamps in the original packages that Helen sends them in because they are perfect. I also keep a little sticker on there that says TCMC Volume 3. I know this was the Volume 3 stamp that she sent out. So that's my most used stamp from her. So I will also keep my acrylic block in there just because it makes it easier. I will keep those together. All of these stamps can all fit in the same package. They all shove in there nicely. And there you have it. Inked to perfection and very little bleed through, very little shadowing. I hope this helped you. If you have any questions, please comment below. And also, if you're liking these videos, I would really appreciate it if you would like, comment, and subscribe. I'm really trying to get the algorithm to notice me these days, and every little bit helps. And I know my community can really help me forward this. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself and take care of others.